Hi, and welcome to Book Chat with Julie. I'm Julie with the Argenta Library. We're part of the North Little Rock Public Library system here in North Little Rock, Arkansas. And happy February. February is always the love month. As you can tell what I have my flowers in, a little college basketball. It's that time of year around our house, and it's madness. It's just pure madness. College basketball that's why they call it March Madness, which is coming up, and it's madness. My team, that's all I'm going to say. So we'll see. It's just madness, that college basketball. But happy love month. So I have my chocolates. I love the Dove, just the Dove creamy chocolate hearts that I have in my, maybe a little sparkly of whatever kind of sparkly you like. This is actually sugar plum from Trader Joe's, just a sparkling juice. Whatever you like to help celebrate your loves around you, or even just some time to sit and read. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some love type books. And we're going to go back, way back, if you like that time period. So by doing that, here are some words that go with that. Regal, scoundrels, scandals, dukes, duchesses, queens, kings, royal, and we can't forget the rake. Now, most of you watching my book chat probably at some point had a crush on a rake. What is a rake? Not a gardening tool. In Regency terms, a rake, that's the bad boy. That's the duke that gets around. That's the bad boy, the one that rides up on the horse and sweeps maybe the duchess away. So when you think of Regency romance, most people are going to automatically think about the paperback books that are in the grocery store, the mass paperback books with the shirtless rake or duke with the long flowing hair, and then he's with the duchess, or an affair with the duchess, an affair with the duke with a spare. Those are just titles that come to mind quickly when you kind of think of Regency romance. Historical and political definition of Regency is the period between 1811 and 1820, when George, Prince of Wales, governed the country as regent during the madness of his father, George III. So Regency is going to take us back. And what is our fascination with Regency romance? It's kind of we see it in books. We've seen a lot of TV, made to TV type movies, different settings. What is our fascination? Part of the reason why Regency era TV and streaming is so popular is that it's an era where people have had a lot of ideas about how romance was back then. Not all of them historical accurate. But who wouldn't, now be honest, who wouldn't like to get a little bitty letter from Mr. Darcy? Didn't everybody have a crush on Mr. Darcy? Yes. So if you're a Pride and Prejudice, Emma fan, Mr. Darcy for one, everybody's had a crush on Mr. Darcy. The notion that old-fashioned romance is an enduring one, for better or for worse. There's traditional Regency, there's historical fiction Regency romance, there's also the central historical Regency romance. That's kind of the whole genre, that many titles in the genre. But not only do historical romance novels take a deep dive into the history and the era of that time and period it's set in, but they often offer a rich character development, such as the descriptive prose that you immediately transported you back into time and feel as though you're interacting with the book characters themselves. A couple that you might be familiar with that's kind of made the popularity of Regency romance kind of hit the screen. And Julia Quinn is the author of the Bridgerton series. Now, you know the Bridgerton series has been on Netflix. It's getting ready to go into season 3. It's probably out on DVD as well. But at the library, we have all Julia Quinn books for the Bridgerton series, plus her other Regency romance books. So number 1 in the Bridgerton series is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. So come check that out. If you're not sure how to read them in order, contact me at Argenta and I have a list, and I will get you that list so that you can read them in order. And not only are they Regency romance, but they're quite comical. They're not really rom-coms, but they are quite comical. There's a lot of funny parts in Julia Quinn's, especially her Bridgerton series. Another one that's in the library and is also a popular Regency romance author is Sabrina Jeffries, and this is A Duke for Diana. This is probably a little bit more familiar when you think of Regency, like I was saying earlier, that you think of the little paperbacks that you find in the grocery store. You can find them in hardcover. You can find them signed by the author at other bookstores as well, but this is a familiar size and type. Now, something that you might want to look into is Gillian Fellows, was the creator of Downton Abbey. Now, Downton Abbey is a little bit, it's still Regency and Royal, but it's a little bit further, closer to our time. But Belgravia began right at the start of the Battle of Waterloo. The book, this is the DV series. It was also on one of the streaming series during COVID. But Belgravia, which we do have the book in the library as well, and on Hoopla, you can get the ebook and the audiobook. Word for word, they're all the same. The DVD, the audiobook, and the book. It was, I loved it. Belgravia by Gillian Fellows, and that would be a great one that you could check out and watch, or listen to on audio or read. Another one that was on, excuse me, my books are falling, that it was actually on HBO. We have the DVDs in the library, and that's The Gilded Age. This is kind of the age before Downton Abbey, kind of the new money, old money on Fifth Avenue of New York. This is also a good Regency time frame and settings and stories and sagas and scandals and all of that. The new money wanting to be part of the old money, and it doesn't always match. Other popular authors that you might be familiar with that you can find in our library, Hoopla, Libby as well, that are Regency romance authors is Joanna Lindsay, Jo Beverly, Loretta Chase, Eloisa James. Those are all authors, again, that we have in the library. I'll be happy to match you up with that. And if you are following along with us this year at the North Little Rock Public Library System, remember we have our reading challenge, and we're into February, which is going to start in about 1909 to about 1919. So you want to find a book that is set, or maybe even published, but set in that time period. And remember to go to our website and log in your entry so that you'll be entered into the drawing for the free book lovers gift. It's a gift bag full of all kinds of things that most book lovers would love. So a good suggestion for the February challenge would be maybe finding something that was set during the time of the Titanic, maybe a fiction or nonfiction, anything that would depict that story. That's a good choice to find. Lori King has one. It's called Back in the Garden. That's a good one for our time period for the February reading challenge, and that's available on Hoopla and Libby as well. And that's a great, it's a dual timeline, but it fits within our challenge. So thank you for joining me for the February book chat. I appreciate you always tuning in. Be sure to comment, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell so that you always get notifications as to when the book chats go live. In the comments, tell me what you're reading. Tell me do you have Valentine's plans? Or do you just have a quiet night of basketball, which is what I'll be doing. Basketball game on Valentine's night. And tell me where you're watching from. We always like to know where our viewers are watching from. So thank you again for joining me for another book chat with Julie.